Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. We're sitting in a 2007 Toyota Avalon with a horn issue. The issue is the horn doesn't work. So let's figure it out. The first thing we're gonna do before checking fuses or anything else is hit the panic button. Just click and hold. All right, nice. So just by activating the panic button, we've gathered a lot of information. We heard those horns honk, which tells us a few things. First, the horn is good. Second, the fuses are good. Third, the relay is good, and the wiring from the fuse box to the horn is all good. So we could just cross that off the list. If your horn does not make any noise with the panic button, then you wanna go under the hood and check those fuses. Let me show you where they are. Right here next to the battery is our fuse box. There's a tab on the front, you just push in, then we'll pull up, separate this whole thing. There we go. And inside we have some labels. Turn it over, we'll look for our horn. There should be two of them. So right here, 7.5 amp fuse says S horn, and then down here, a 10 amp fuse says regular horn. Let me show you what that looks like in here. In this row of fuses here, it's the third one in. That's our horn fuse, 10 amp. And then the very last one in this row is the 7.5 amp S horn. We'll check both of those fuses and make sure they're good. All right, back to this diagnosis. We know the horns are good, fuse is good, wiring is good. Now we're gonna pull the trim off of the steering wheel column because we wanna access a wire. I'm gonna put the key in the ignition, turn it to run so we can turn the steering wheel. We're gonna turn it 90 degrees, and that reveals a screw on this side. Just a Phillips, we'll pull it out. We're gonna turn it back to the other side. That reveals a screw on this side, pull it out. Now there's a little window underneath. We'll grab on it and just pull straight down. There we go, that separates. We'll slide it out. Let me zoom you in, take the key out. So this is our wiper switch. If you follow it down, we have a couple electrical connectors. It's the one on the far right. Just pinch that, pull it out. You don't necessarily have to pull yours out, but I want to show you the wire. It's this gray wire right here on the side. Let me isolate it. So it's this gray wire that we want to tap into. This comes from our horn switch. So let me get a little back probing tool. All right, got my back probe in there. We'll plug this back in. So now we're gonna hook up our test light. So we need a test light. We're gonna hook it up to battery positive. We have it hooked up to battery positive. Now anytime we touch a ground, it'll light up. So battery negative, lights up. This is a ground here, it should light up. There we go, get a little light. These lights up. So we know our tool is working. Now let's go inside. So when we push our button, our switch provides the ground. And just like we saw before, if this touches a ground, our light should light up. So this will tell us if our switch is making it through our spiral connector to this wire. So we'll hook this up to the back probe like that. We'll push on our horn, and this is not lighting up at all. Now let's hook our test light to negative. We're just gonna swap this over, put it on ground. There we go. Our horn switch provides the circuit with a ground through this gray wire. We just tested it, and our switch is not providing the ground that the circuit needs. With our test light hooked to ground, we can provide it the ground. So now this becomes the switch. So with my back probe, I'm gonna put this in. We're hooked to battery negative, so that's our ground. The horn should honk. There we go. So we become the switch. So now we know that from this column to our fuse box is all good. So we're really narrowing it down. The last thing we need to check is the horn switch itself. For that, we have to remove the airbag. Let's take out our back probe. Gonna put the key in and just straighten out our steering wheel. There we go. Because we have to remove our airbag, let's go disconnect the battery. We'll take off the negative 10 millimeter. Just tuck that aside. Now we wanna wait a good minute before we proceed. On the side of our steering wheel, we're gonna take a small screwdriver and just pry this little trim piece off. There we go. That reveals a T30 Torx. Just buzz this out. Same thing on this side. Just pop this little panel off. There we go. Buzz this one out. Now the Torx doesn't actually come out, but we just want to unscrew it all the way. Now this should just slide right out. There will be some electrical connectors. To undo our airbag connectors, we're gonna have that little screwdriver. We're gonna pop up on this yellow tab, just like that. And this whole connector will come right up. Probably easier with my fingers. There we go, just comes right out. Do that with this, very gently. There we go. And this pops up. Then we have our little horn ground. There's just a little tab on that in the back. Push it in, pop it off. All right, great. Now let's hook our battery back up. Put this back on. Just snug it real quick. It doesn't have to be tight. We're gonna pull it back off in just a little bit. There you go, just snug. Hook our test light back to negative, just like that. Make sure it works, okay. The single wire that we took off our airbag, that's our horn switch wire. When we push down on our horn, this wire gets a ground and it sends it down through this connector, through our spiral clock spring, and then on the other side, it's that gray wire that we tapped into. So this next step is eliminating the horn switch. We have our test light hooked to battery negative, and we're gonna provide this wire with a ground. If the horn turns on, then it's our horn switch not grounding this wire. If our horn does not turn on, then it's our spiral connector or clock spring. So we'll just give it a ground, and nothing's happening. I'm still back probed into that gray wire, so I'm gonna give that a ground. Make sure the horn still honks. Okay, but come up here and give the switch a ground, and nothing happens. So the diagnosis for this vehicle is a bad clock spring. For that, we'll have to remove the steering wheel. Well, that's not too bad. I'm gonna have to order the part, so for me, it'll be about a week before it gets here. Once it comes, we'll continue this video. See you then. So now in here, we got these two connectors to disconnect. So you just pinch on the tab, just like that, pull it out. It's easier to do it two-handed. Oh, there's one, there's two. This can stay in. We'll get this 19 millimeter. I'm gonna buzz mine off with an impact, but if you don't own an impact, having a big ratchet or breaker bar is your next bet. If you do that, we wanna hold the steering wheel while we crack it loose, because we wanna keep our steering wheel in the forward position as much as possible. 19 millimeter. It's not on too tight. Now we'll hit on the steering wheel at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock, just like this, and that'll break it loose. There we go. This goes through. Perfect. So our clock spring can turn left and right. We want to try to keep it in the upright position to the best of our ability. If you prefer, you can use a piece of tape to hold it in place. Let's do that. Just some blue masking tape. We'll just lock it in place like that. There. Doesn't have to be crazy, just to prevent it from moving. We have this electrical connector that comes off. Just pinch, pull out. And this electrical connector comes off. It's a little different. Let me show you how it works. So hopefully you can see, but look in the front. Right underneath, there's a piece that you slide back. So slide it back and pull out at the same time. Let me show you that again. Just put it back in, it locks. It's this little bottom piece that you're sliding back. Just like that, and that's it. All right, we're getting really close. On this side, there's a tab that we push down. Then over here, there's another tab. See right here that we push down. And then up top, there's a tab right here that we push up. So we want all three of those tabs released, and our clock spring will come out as one unit. All right, so these two we can get at the same time. Just pull out, there we go. And then the top one by itself, there. All right, that is it. All right, let's grab our new one. Well, looking at the two side by side, other Toyotas I've done have had a separate steering angle position sensor that needed to be removed from the old one and put on the new one. But it looks like this is set up just a little different, actually a little easier, because there's nothing that needs to be swapped over. So that's pretty cool. On our new one, just make sure it still has this orange lock. That's important. And there's a triangle on the bottom that matches up with another triangle. Make sure that those are pointing towards each other. And that's pretty much it. We'll just lay this over. We'll get those tabs to lock in, just push it straight in, and we're done. We'll plug these in just like that till it clicks. This yellow one just goes in till it clicks. We'll put on our covers. There we go, just snap them in place. Then our two screws. We're ready for our steering wheel. We'll pull this out, just like that. Keep this in the upright position. We'll feed our cable through the middle. Line it up. There, that's it. Our steering wheel is pointed straight forward. If we're one spline off, like let's say I'm off one spline clockwise, now our steering wheel is crooked and it's pretty obvious to tell. Same if I'm one spline off counterclockwise, I'm pretty crooked. So it should only line up one way. We'll put our center nut in. Just suck it down. And this is torqued to 37 foot-pounds. So we'll hold the steering wheel. Perfect. Plug in our white connectors. And we'll get our airbag. I didn't tell you this before, but when you set our airbag down, we don't want it set down like this. We want it upside down. When it's like this, if it accidentally deploys for some freak reason, it's not common, but just in case, if it's like this, the bag will deploy from down below. And this will become like a rocket and launch. If it's like this, the bag will deploy from up above nothing will happen. Just a little tip with this. Now we're gonna put it in just like that. We'll get our horn cable put in like that. Now this orange goes to orange. Perfect. Black goes to black. There we go. They're all the way down. And then we just push these locks, lock them in, and that's it. We'll lay this down. We'll get this started. There we go. Not too tight. They are 78 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, but inch-pounds, which ends up being about 7 or 8 foot-pounds. So not very much. We'll just do the other side real quick. Just good and snug. Put our trim piece on. And same with this side. Where did I put it? Right here. That goes over. Find the way it fits. Snap it in. Perfect. All right, let's hook our battery back up. There's a few things we need to check and initialize, and then we're all set. Let's hook this back up real quick. Snug it down. There we go. All right, the first thing I want to check is this did not have a horn. That's why we replaced the clock spring. So let's make sure the horn works. Awesome. So repair complete. Now let's initialize our windows. Let me show you how to do that. Initializing our windows is pretty easy. I have mine down already. We'll just hold it up. And when it goes all the way up, just keep holding it for about 1 second. That's good, let go. We'll do the same thing in the down position, all the way down. Once it's all the way down, we'll hold it for about 1 second and we're done. And then double check that it goes all the way up automatically. Just on its own and down automatically on its own. Yeah, nice. We'll do that to the other side. There we go, all the way down until it stops. Hold it for 1 second. Then all the way back up. Hold it for 1 second, and that's it. And then we'll double check. There we go, all on its own. And then back up, all on its own. So windows are initialized. Now, if you have a sunroof, which we don't here, but if you have a sunroof, we want to do the exact same thing. In all the way, out all the way, and then make sure that it does its auto if it has that. And that's it. So, changing out the clock spring, not too bad. A few things that use the clock spring are the horn, like in this case, the horn wasn't working, bad clock spring. The airbag also uses the clock spring, and our steering wheel buttons. So if any of those are not working, it's possible that you have a bad clock spring. Thanks for watching. I'll have links in the description for all the parts and tools used. If you have any questions, comment, post down below. See you on the next one.